Hello and welcome, my beautiful, beautiful souls. We are gathering together for a really beautiful, powerful, not a frequency code session. I've been a little up in the air with really what to call these. Kind of the thing that's been dropping in is like light architecture teachings. But there will be some activations sprinkled in, I'm hearing. Just really before going live, I heard, well, we will play some frequency codes, but it's not going to be like, you know, like a frequency code session. Like we're not going to be bringing in any silence and really, you know, that, but I will bring in some codes to help. So like I heard like divine wisdom, divine understanding, divine receptivity, which really opens your entire system to be able to receive, well, to receive more in all ways. So, but today, right, again, in these light architecture teachings, so the source choice points are important, not just choice points. We're going to go over both and why there is that delineation. The Akash really is what this all is. When I started to bring in the light architecture, the drawings, I was like, this is what AAA is. This is the Aura Akashic Alignment Academy. Like, they're just having me explain it in drawings, but that's not what I intended when I went into it. The intention of it was to further describe, teach in vision and then in understanding about portals and about timelines, because last month in the Leap Into Your Light, the Spiritual Activation and Integration membership, and that is one of the things I'll be welcoming you into, inviting you into about this, because you want Portal Traveler, which is the code that was brought in, activate the thing in you, to activate the remembering in you, the power in you. And so as much as they are beautiful standalone gifts, there was just so much nuance. Once they had me talking about timelines and how you can reach out into your Akash, because the Akash is actually all around you. It's actually your biofield, and you can reach out to these little touch points and you know, go into a different timeline through your past, or go into a timeline in the future. You know, do good work there, lay good harmonics, or go into the past and work with that, or go into your own timelines. And I'm like, look, beautiful, because again, the activation is going to do a lot for you. But once we're at this point, I need a teaching, right? Like, that's just what came up. And then what came up after that was basically my guide saying, yeah, we've been asking you to, oh, I forgot to bring those other sheets over. Maybe they're in my box. We've been asking you to do stuff like this for some time now. So that was on me, but so this was fun to bring forth. What do I want to say here? Okay, two things. One, this is a introductory level teaching for, not introductory as in it's like basic knowledge, but introductory as it's the first time I'm doing it. And so since I'm learning how to convey light architecture, this is basically like the visions, the things, again, light architecture is a very good form for it. It's what I also call like spiritual technology. It's the energetic makeup and reality of the bigger themes that we talk about. So in this case, how to work with and access different timelines. Again, what we call portals. Portals are like the access to them. I'm going to talk about access points, which you'll hear me talk a lot about in the codes. And so it's introductory as in it's the first time of me learning how to teach like this, and therefore sharing it live with all of you beautiful souls. So I think the secondary thing to that is that I'm also kind of basic in my phone skills, which means I'm going to talk at you like this for a while, and then I'm going to like mess with my phone over here and try and position it down right so that you can see you know, the work, right? These drawings. So like this is the information they want me to convey. This is like the initial drawing that you would have saw. We're going to go into that. This is like a bigger version of that, which I'm going to kind of color code as we explain some other concepts. And then this is something that I thought would be more complete, but then I realized, again, it wants to be almost like more interactive. So I'm going to try and keep this under an hour. That's pretty good for the teachings. I really don't, you know, because we all have life, right? And especially even for replayers, when you sit down to do something, you see it's forever and then you just skip it. But this is very valuable information. And so I think that's what we're going to run with here. Yeah, so let me take a sip of my drink, and then I think we're going to run in those codes. So we're going to get into the teaching, guys. Thank you again for being here. Replayers as well, because I do hope this is going to wind up being like a mini series, probably twice a month is what I'm aiming for. And if it's not light architecture, still my new, like, you have to be with the people. Yeah, yes, like we have to come together. There's so much knowledge and wisdom that is here to be shared. We're going to settle real quick. Again, this is not an official code, but they are asking for some codes to come in. We are going to activate and anchor in the frequency code Divine Wisdom, the frequency code Divine Understanding and Receptivity. Like they very much want that to be a joint code. So Divine Understanding and Receptivity, even more so allowing this to be absorbed within you so that what you take forth today is beneficial in your own energy work, in your own life, in your, yes, and all of that. Is anything else? Yes, let's also activate, relax, open, and allow. And then we drop those last guardings, those last vestiges of where we try and protect ourselves from wisdom like this. Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm just going to play with how I can hold this for you guys. We're going to move the drink. We're going to move the crystal. Pen. Okay. All right, so again, it's okay if like you can't fully see this, because each of these are kind of their own touch points, and I might not even read these all at once. I might then bring forth this one and then talk to you about what that means and go back and forth. Again, very introductory teaching and how I'm going to be able to bring forth this type of information. Does this blow up? It does blow up, so that's nice. Okay. All right, so the very first concept that they wanted me to write down is that the universe is mental, right? This is the law of mentalism. In its most basic forms, what they really want you to get out of that is that all of creation is an expression, right? All of creation is thought coming into life. And the will alone to experience life then creates your energetic and physical realities, right? This is stuff that we know. If you're in this group, this is stuff that we know. But how does that help? How does it help to know that the experiences in our reality create energetic and physical realities, and all what these are, though, are access points. They're access points to different, what we would call different realities, as well as different possibilities. Like this is AKA our more healed life or manifestations. And all of this, the realities, the things that have come down into form, and the things that are available to come down into form, that are in your mind, because once they're mental, because the universe is mental, once you've had a creation and you want to experience, then it's a very real possibility. And these are limitless, and these are infinite. So these are the access points. You're going to hear me use that word most of the time, and it's taking over a lot of, again, normally, yeah, with like, we're used to the word portals, right? And it's still valid. It's still valid, but it's easier to understand what I'll show you as access points, which we can actually really go into now. So what this is a representation of you and the infinite creationary access points that came forth because the universe is mental, and every single time, thing, person, situation that has come forth from a thought form creates its own access point. So this is your web of access points, your spiral of access points, and this is then your greater, right, they've been wanting to use the word genome, like I know that that's a DNA structure, but it still interests me that they want to use the word genome because, well, then this goes into the micro and the macro, which 5 minutes ago they made me write down the law of correspondence, which is as above, so below. So we will get into that. Again, this is an unfolding teaching. And so why this is important, one, what I also want you to do, let's go ahead and bring forth this beauty of a vision. If you can see, there is a person still in there. We still have our heart vortex. This would be your genome because it's as above, so below. So what we call an aura field, and it's so beautiful because as I'm doing this, I'm seeing like lots of beautiful mini teachings that I can record from this to go deeper into the subject. Again, this is a very overarching teaching here. They really want to be able to see the bigger pictures being conveyed in all of this. So this one can help dictate that, this is just, right? This is just one orb. Your entire sequence here, in and out, your entire aura field, and then your genome, right, is one singular access point. So in the great universe that's around you, you're really just a tiny, where's my finger? You're just a tiny access point to somebody else's reality. Do you see how that works? Like how we talk about like how, like when they like kind of bring up like the infinity of like sand molecules, right? Or even like DNA itself. And like how, of course, like nuanced and detailed and unique your life is, but when it comes down to it, your entire reality is just an access point in another timeline, or to another person's timeline. And so that's what I want you to also understand in this, is when I am speaking, when we're talking about portals and access points, what you're doing is accessing an entire sequence. And that can be Well, see, yeah, this is what I just explained then, so glad it's in my head. So your entire reality is its own access point. It's a whole system in itself. Now, some access points are stronger and more real than others due to collective belief. So this is something that we're going to talk more about in this drawing, and why some situations are, again, what we would call harder to heal or harder to manifest. My human's starting to like kind of getting done with those words, but for explanation and teaching sake, we're going to use them. And so not only are you your own system, but every experience, expression, person, thing, or situation is its own access point as well. So again, all of this. I told you we're going to be introductory here to how to hold this. So an access point inside your field could be the memory of when you entered high school, or it could be that whole 13th year. Every age is going to have an access point, actually. And I'm just pointing to random things, guys, all right? This isn't where they are per se. But you can actually find out where they are. Again, once I started bringing this force, I'm like, this is the entire Akashic Alignment Academy. Although that's not what I meant to explain or to draw. So yes, and then, an access point of an expression from anger can be in there, because not only is the universe mental, but emotion is a backing, is like a fire that feeds the thought. It's also a creationary essence. It's something that is also needed for proper energetics, but then it can also be discord. You guys like my discords? And I will explain this. Actually, I have something in my book. It's going to be a later teaching, but I obviously I'll touch on it a little bit today because of, well, then how do we get the discords out, right? Yeah, so your person, let's say a partner, is an access point. If it's not a good relationship or it's an ex, it could be a discordant access point, but they are their own portal, right? They're their own complete creationary system. Just because it's in your system doesn't mean that it's necessarily yours. It means it's become an experience, right? A lived experience in your system. And then this is where, again, discords come in and they affect the body, or they affect the mind, they affect the heart, right? But, well, okay. I'm not going to say I'm skipping ahead because I didn't have a, like, well, this is what needs to be explained first. They actually wouldn't let me do that, which was driving me crazy when I was trying to prepare for this. But it is what it is. Like I said, it's introductory teaching. It's good to get this out there for everybody. Okay, so another thing that they would not let me not write, every time I was thinking about this, I think this whole part took me like a good 20 minutes to finally write down. This wasn't all like whoosh, channeled information, because I was going back and forth with some of it to understand it myself. Like, if I'm going to write it down, that's fine, but let me have divine wisdom and divine understanding, please, if you want me to present it. So the thing and the table, why this was important, they said to add in that things have access points. And I'm going to knock on this because specifically when I was doing this, and like I know I wrote table, but this is really like an apothecary desk. It really, and again, I know you guys being in this group like know this concept or even know it in your hearts already, but like it's such a thing where they need this true wisdom, again, true understanding that this is just as unphysical as your body is, right? Your physical body, yes, we can call it that, but is just the densest part of your aura, and it needs to be treated like energy. And so does your table and a pencil and this paper. Because so when the paper would be almost the same thing, but when I was sitting here like with this desk, then what they started to do with me, which is also kind of like Portal Traveler, this is a different nuance that you can do with Portal Traveler, and this is also, I mean, I learned this when I was really young in my, I guess not, anyway. I learned this in probably like my mid-20s. But it's a not a concept, it's a energetic journeying aspect to choose an object and then to go into it, right? To ask it and see what it used to be. So like for the desk, or again the paper that's now wanting to be addressed, they're like, me too, because it's really the same thing. You can see it as the old cedar tree or the old oak tree or the old whatever tree that they took down. And then I had seen a seedling. I saw like a little, like one of those like flying seedlings. And then I saw the tree that seedling came from. And then they were showing me really what I would call almost like cosmic dust. Like, so more creationary, right? More atomic. They were showing me at the level of what these were. Really, really molecular they were getting with it. And so this is why a teaching like this is really important to take within, because it makes all of this make so much more sense to why when we can, in our hearts of hearts and in our higher minds and in our higher spirits, you know, own the fact that I can touch and see and honor an object for the many, many things that it literally used to be. It's almost like they're just playing Halloween right now, you know? And another interesting thing while I'm bringing this up is I also was like seeing the making of this desk. And that was really cool too. Like I was tapping into humans. So like, not that I would go into the portal of the table, except I always forget the name of it, but there is a psychic gift, right? Is it psychometry? It's when you touch something, right? And then you see its past, you see the energy and its history, right? And so like, I could see the people in like little blips of the place, kind of more like a factory type, but not a huge thing. Like it doesn't feel like it was like mass produced. I could see that. And those are all access points, right? Then the people that built this have their own systems and their own energetic realities that are attached to this. Again, why we clear stuff when we bring it into our houses. So, yeah, so again, I'm going to try and move on from the table, but they said this, well, you can't leave this out. You can't, it might not seem like it relates to what you're trying to do here, but it does, because everything is a portal, and everything has access to different energies and different times and different experiences and different realities. And so, yeah, so then moving on from that, the situation that they wanted to use was job searching. So because, again, it's its own energetic reality, and even more so with something like job searching, this is really going back to the universe's mental. And so all thoughts are creations, and that is an expression, and the will to experience then creates energetic and physical realities. And again, like I said, you're down here. I thought this was going to be more fleshed out, but apparently they wanted me to do some stuff on the live. But why something like this is so important, and again, this is really like an Akashic alignment teaching, because this is going to go down to imprints and programs and conditionings, yes, But the thought forms, every time you write the most basic, should I stay, right? Let's say we're acting like there is a job in place already. Should I stay or should I go? Or even if you don't have one, right? Should I stay working at home or should I stay or should I search for a job? Every single time that you think about that, but don't take an action, All right, guys, introductory teaching. I told you that I'll figure out some way, somehow to make this type of teaching better. But for now, I think I'm doing pretty good. So every single time you think, should I stay? And then, oh no, should I go? You're splitting timelines. You're creating how many more? What if you really, you really want to go, but so many times your thoughts are saying, but there's not better money out there. Or did you look at the job market today? I'm not qualified for better pay. It's easier to stay in this position, right? I'd have to just train all over again. But your heart, your soul, also every day does not want to stay here. And again, guys, I could have used 1,000 examples. But this, should I stay or should I go, is classic split energy, split portal. Well, it's the division. Should I do this or should I do that? And so one of the things we need to stop doing, what did they want me to say up here? So inaction is a choice and holds equal weight to action choices. Both creations create access points. Every time a thought or emotion is laid down upon that creation, it thickens and strengthens it and makes it more real. So let me see here. Come on, phone. So what this was, again, and excuse me, this can also, let's say, because it's not even like, should I stay? Because most people that I talk to who are in this should I go mode actually just want to go. It's almost like the core, let's do this, like a core decision has been made that I want to go. I want to. But then immediately the shoulds, they come in. That's what all this is. It's about the money. It's about that it's hard. It's about, what if I can't find something that's from home? What would my partner think? 1,000 shoulds, right? Leaving a steady income, especially if it's like to work for yourself or something. Then we're adding 1,000 more into this, right? But every time, it's honestly, all of these are then also like the discords. What's happening is that then this is a portal. So you can, can we see up there? Yeah, we can see. So if I'm thinking, oh, but it's easier to stay in this job. When I'm dreaming, when I want to leave, but it's just easier, hands down, no new trainings, no new boss, I'm not learning a complete different system. At least I know what my pay is, even if I'm not unsure. Each one of these is now its own access point, and they're discordant access points. Because you don't even, like their security, you're going to think that their security, but if this is the harmony, if the I want to, and the new choice, whether that is the job, the partner, the home, the literally anything, should I stay or should I go, I want but this is easier or this is comfortable, you are still, it's not just, you don't just have two decisions anymore. You've created 1,000 openings and 1,000 imprints that make this to feel why it's actually so heavy. It's so hard to get to this anymore because all this discord, all of these have now become discords in your system. And now here's the thing, and I probably will break out my pens in a second. I make sure that this, yeah. We'll just make sure when it's right to do. So all of these, even the things that we said there about, oh, it's easier, or, oh, I can't make enough money, or, oh, I'm not educated, or just, oh, look at the economy, there's actually nothing out there, look at what people say, they've been trying to find jobs for months. Every time you do that, it's not even just you. I guess it does want to come forth now. So these, let's see, what are we doing here? So these aren't supposed to be stars. They're supposed to be scribbles. So look, this, oh, look at the economy. That's not you. Ew, yuck. Not only is that not you, this is a giant cultural, I'd say societal conditioning about the lack and fear that has been thrown down upon our planet. Not only that, though, look at this. These discords, though, actually run down your patriarchal line because maybe you go back to a lot of blue-collar workers or farmers, right? Your ancestors were farmers and things like that. And there just wasn't. You weren't switching jobs. You know, you passed down your jobs. You worked hard at your jobs. You didn't just dream of more money. You had to, like, you know, oh, I can just go out there and find something better. No, you had to work hard and plow your fields. and like, I'm laughing at it, but our ancestral stuff is heavy. And it's a massive discord. And not only is it a massive discord, it's an entire access point to, like, first off, like, let's say the farming is, well, that's the example we're using, so it is your great-grandfather, who, because maybe you don't even know it in your system, like maybe the people that you know of were not, you know, but it actually starts at your great-grandfather or so. This is an access point that you can go back to. And again, this is why, like, well, okay. So, okay, now I am going to say it. So, because, like, the teaching is here for the teaching because they want you to see it. But obviously, this isn't, like, I can't tell you how to solve your entire life and your timeline and everything in an hour live, right? They wanted me to bring forth the light architecture and to really break this down. Oh, wait, I brought this forth for a reason. But how you do start to access things like this and even understand that this was a problem in the first place and even understand where it is in your body and what it is affecting is because of, like, the Aura Akashic Alignment Academy does this. This is why they had me birth that modality a few years ago. Because there's so much infinite, can you see that? There's so much infinite information. How are we going to know which thing is ours, yours, or what's coming from your higher self, or like your subconscious is another one, right? If it's freaking subconscious, that's like unfair, right? It's so much of our healing is technically unfair because, right, we're behind the veil, guys. It's like we're blindfolded, and by the way, we said yes to being blindfolded, but nonetheless, which is another thing the benevolent ones have been saying. They're like, yes, but why Aura Akashic Alignment, why AAA had to come out was to be a system, was to be an answer, was to be Akashic access. And so you didn't have to be like, well, where the hell is the discord that's affecting me from finding a better job, not even finding a freaking better job, but even actually making the decision that I'm going to do it, right? Setting a timeline, then being like, you know what? That's it. By the end of the year, I'm going to have another job. Because what do you do when you say that? You've collapsed other portals. You start to be like, oh, I've made an intention. I've intended and using divine command, because that is you. That's your power. That's what you have. And so every time I make a clear choice, that's it. I'm not staying here. I just can't anymore. I don't care that it's good money. I don't care that it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I am leaving. That alone was collapsing, one of these. And if you set a date, that's it. Boom, I'm out of here by this date. Boom, you're helping to collapse discord when you're doing that, because you're making choices and you're setting forth a harmonic pathway. Not only are you setting forth a harmonic pathway, but you're leaning into one portal, right? And so, again, what if then you already set the date? So that means at some point then, like, before you start looking at sites, you need to brush up your resume, right? Which is going to be like all the way down here. Bam! Wow, I've actually done a lot more than I thought. Or, you know what? I know that my type of qualities is exactly what my most aligned job is going to need anyway. I'm not worried that I don't have a bachelor's. Right? Boom, collapsing discord over here. And so what you're also doing, again, with that, unbeknownst really to you, because these discords are discordant access points that are in your freaking system. This is yours, right? And so this is where it came to, where they wanted me to last minute write the law of correspondence and why the within isn't just you. Because the law of correspondence is as above, so below. So, but what that says, like, it's really frustrating again. And this is why they wanted to bring forth those codes like divine wisdom and divine understanding and divine receptivity, reminding that they are working with you, they are here with you, they're helping this absorb on your lower levels. Oh my God, Tracy, I can see your comment on my phone. Sorry, I just got excited back. You said, oh my God. And so, yay, I can see comments on my phone. I hope that actually stays. Oh my God, just talked to a friend about the female ancestral line that I must be in for struggle and lack. So maybe let me see where I'm getting with this, and then maybe I can use it as, because see, this is what this is going to be. This is the harmony. This is you taking your power back. First off, you are somebody who has the Aura Akashic Alignment Academy. And I am going to be inviting alumni back. Of course, I'm going to be inviting new people back too, because coming back into the work is saying, yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm still committed. Right? Yes, I want the community. Yes, I want the mentorship, right? I want to go deeper. Nonetheless, you have it, so I want you to run with it and, like, put dates in your calendar. And guys, the people that don't have it, I'm going to talk to you about putting dates in your calendar for still doing, like, intention-based command work for this as well, right? Because before I had the Aura Akashic Alignment Academy, and that beautiful, magnificent library, really, that it is, this entire method and system, what did we have? We were asking. We were asking and we were activating. We were asking and we were doing our harmonic job, especially, again, in activations, in the frequency codes, but in what else? In, like, it's like before that, right? Our heyday in meditations and affirmations and our gratitudes, right? Choosing harmony over discord. Choosing especially, first off, there is a lot of conscious discord that we know about, but then sometimes it's unfair because, right, we don't even know that that's there. And so just to keep going on this again, a lot of times if you clear one, it will ripple back and take that. But let's say this one, whose great grandfather was very discordant. Like, not only were these guys discordant, but maybe they weren't even, like, that nice of people. Like, there was just some, like, a lot of families will call it curses and things like that. Unfortunately, my dad has used that word for my line, which sucks, because that's a program. First off, like, you know, he has his own lived experiences with his father, who I never knew. Things like that. So that's valid in his own system and in his own access points. And for all I know, I don't know what I actually do have to clear from my grandfather's line. You know, I don't really know what's in there. But what about his father and his father and his father? Or their mothers, right? We're not, because even though we're in a paternal line, we can't forget the woman. The woman still exists in a paternal line, right? And so, yeah, so we don't know really what is up in ours. And so, yeah, so again, I told you guys I was going to be jumping around because it's just how this teaching has to be. But so why the within, again, they had me write this down. They had me write this down 5 minutes. I'm going to explain the wobble too. But why the within isn't just you, because that law of correspondence, the as above, so below, literally just makes you out to feel bad. Like, seriously, every single thing in the world, all of this that I'm seeing is my fault. If I see it, if someone's being like a complete jerk face to me, or even in the bigger realities like that, it's not fair to say that it's all you. Now look, one day I'll figure out how to do this better. Harmony over discord is still important. You can't add to it. And it is your energetic duty as a spirit who chose to be a conduit and a medium on this planet to enact this, to choose harmonics, to choose love, to choose unity, to choose compassion, and to echo that, to emanate that out into the world, so that you take the opposite, right? Like divine abundance is a big one. Like you really can put divine in front of any word, but divine abundance, especially over something like divine wealth, I'm all for it, and like divine prosperity, but divine abundance is a universal truth, right? This earth is an abundant being, right? Again, we all know that teaching as well. So like in Tracy's case, I can see your guys' comments. Okay. Sorry. Wait, let me go back to Tracy's comment. I'm so excited though. About the female ancestral line that I must be in for struggle and lack. First off, struggle and lack are I know that we encompass them, especially because, well, I forget what it's called, but it's like mono, you know, it's like when something's going bad, then everything's bad. and when things are going good, it's like, I've never been upset in my life, right? And so, yeah, so when we're in lack, it can feel that everything is a struggle, or that we're not doing anything right, when really it's just one access point. Does it affect other access points? Does it affect other things? Yes, of course. Which then, if we're bringing in harmony though, so let's say divine abundance, we are tapping into the acorns, the blade of grass, the sunbeams on us. We're tapping into the literal existence of divine abundance. It cannot be refuted. And not only are we tapping into that though, let me try and go through this, but I really wish I had the other spiritual architecture. I'm going to look for it in just 1 second. It might be in this box. But I'm going to show it to you, but that's going to be another teaching. So we choose things then. I also will draw it here, because this, what I'm doing here, let me put this up here. This is starting to have to do with this. This is you, right? We've established this. This is your system. This is one access point, and all of these are different access points. This could be an experience when you were 13. this is what I pointed to, right? This is a collective experience, a collective wounding. This is something that came from your past timeline, but also your maternal lineage. This one is paternal. It's actually affecting future timelines. And then this one is what we would call, like, quote unquote, yours, right? We do have a system of things that exist as us, for us, again, and that then we're responsible to then loop out harmonic intentions and choices and frequencies and so on and so forth. And what that does is brings us into access with what we call alignment, resonance, flow. This is also where source choices come in, because choice points matter. We have to stop the indecisiveness, because even in action, or the back and forth, is you've already created something, because the universe is mental. So every time we worry, right, every time we get stuck on something and how and all of that, we're just creating these other access points in our field that we don't want. And so choice points matter. Confusion and lack of clarity equals too many portals open. This is literally just when nothing happens. Nothing, you can't move forward. This actually, of course they always do this. The I do frequency code for the Activations Academy that just came forth today. Oh shoot, why did I just bring that up? It had to do with this. Again, I'm gonna stay in the teaching, but if that comes back up, but it was important about just choosing and stopping to hem and haw, because stagnancy. Man, did we clear some frickin' stagnancy today in the I do. It's funny, like the little things that I literally went and like I was deleting stuff from my computer, and this wasn't even on purpose. This wasn't like, oh, I just brought in the I do code, I need to go take action. I was just doing it. I like cleaned off this wall that had these grubby, right, kid prints on them and stuff that was bothering me for months, by the way, guys. I'm not even ashamed to admit that, because I've just been I've been choosing other things to do. But today I was like, and I didn't go out there to do that. I went out there to make some lunch, and I was like, nope, that wall's getting clean right now. So why? Because there's so much happening, so much thought noise, so many indecisive actions that we have too many portals open. What does that also do in your system is create all sorts of, I want like a red or something. Creates all sorts of stagnancy. Oh, my red doesn't work. Good, because you're going to be transmuted and dissolved. But you see what I'm saying? These are blocks. That's what this is. Every single discordant access point is the literal, what we would call blocks, or again, stagnancy. If you're a healer or you have a lot of receptivity in your own body, you'll feel these things. You know when you hit stagnancy or a block. The problem is, well, they're all problems, but the problem is when we start to realize that we are one of the main sources. And then this is when this becomes important. The law of correspondence. And yes, the within isn't just about you, but we create a lot of it. So the lack of jobs, the lack of motivation to get one, when we do get onto a site and it's like, oh wow, actually maybe I do need qualifications for these. It didn't have to be that way though. This one, like this thread just got really, really strong. And the more that you do harmonic clearing into this pathway, is the more that you'll then find that does not have strength anymore, because you're more focused on this and choosing things and creating divine action, that the thought or emotion that's laid down upon that creation will thicken and strengthen and become more real. So you'll be adding so much more thought to this because you've already decided. Even if you know it's not something that can take place this moment, your energy is going here now. And that's what creates a very strong portal, more so like this one. This is how we create and choose in the most aligned portals. Okay. Yes. Yes, so let me see. Though I think the wobble wants to be talked about now. And that would be, what does it say down here? Let me take some water really quick, guys. Oh, that's so good. Okay, let me see what it says down here real quick. So, access points are also akin to portals. Okay, so that's yes, that's what we've been talking about. Every experience, expression, person, thing, or situation is an access point, is what we call portals. You can learn, so they hold the energetic equations, which is what we call a reality. So the entire makeup, let's say again, entering high school, or how they did want me to kind of say, well, this could just be year 13. Because that not only, so this was like a moment in time, which actually does have its own timeline. You can like go back to that first day. But then that whole first year, if there was just like emotion after emotion after emotion, right? Fear, discord, whatever, in your 13th year, that's when it also becomes more of an energetic equation, a makeup of different experiences, expressions, and persons. Like when all of this comes into it, that is what really like a portal is giving you access to, the energetic equation that makes up that old reality, or also future. So again, aka portals are doorways to other timelines. And you can learn how to access any point in your reality to diffuse, right? To get rid of the discord, or infuse, well, okay, I'm going to keep reading this sentence, but yes, to diffuse or infuse it with proper light force, aka harmony, which brings forth what we call healing and manifestation. So in comes your choice points. Okay. So that's like back to this. This is what started it all. Let me see how I want to represent that. So let's say we've gotten to the job. And so for this sake, for the three lines here, can I bring this up? Yeah. Oh, my phone is very hot. Where's my battery? Okay, I probably should plug it in. One moment. Okay, so for the three, let's say there are three choices. You've already decided that you're going to take a new job. You know that you can't stay in the old one, right? But even when you decide that, let's not act like there are not still programs and discords that play out that make you, that they just come up. Sure, I've decided I'm going to do it, but damn, like I remember when I decided to move to Maui. Hell yeah, I'm going to move. But I was only 20 and I was leaving literally everybody I knew except for one person. And so hell yeah, I made the decision. I was going, but you know, even on we took a train to California and then stayed there for a bit, and then a flight, of course, to Hawaii. it's not like on those avenues was I still not layering down, you know, some thoughts about, is this the right thought? So staying, right? Should I stay or should I go? Is still a choice, but it's not the best one, right? And, you know, for sake again of brevity, because it could be any discord that why this was, but it was just some programming. Let's say this isn't actually what I thought, because I'm a very personable, I'm a super introvert, so maybe it did come up a little bit, but I was going to say I'm very personable, so I wasn't scared like I wasn't going to make new friends, but I was leaving an extremely tight-knit, close, loving group of beings, right? We were kids, we had our drama, we had our stories, but I had a very solid group of friends. And so, again, leaving that, the program might be, I won't make new friends, right? Again, I don't think this is actually something I was thinking, but I'm just bringing it up for example. So staying home in Philly and never experiencing those really beautiful 3 years, which I had an amazing, solid group of friends out there too, that I still think about, that I still miss. And I never, right, it's not the best one. It was a choice. I'm sure there would have been some crazy memories here. Actually, honestly, a lot of drama happened in those couple years while I was gone. So suffice to say, obviously, the choice to leave was actually my most aligned one, because a lot of shit did go down in my old friend group when I left. But I could have stayed and I could have been involved in that. And what would have happened then, would have been, let's say, again, I'm just doing these for you know, example's sake, but let's say a programming of, well, this actually kind of does work, because if it's also a programming of like leaving your friends and family that you know, and then so like separating and creating a bond, because I'm on a maternal line here, and my mama didn't want me to leave, right? I'm only 20, I'm the youngest kid. She does support like adventure and stuff like that, but it's not that she wanted me living that far away from her. She doesn't want any of her kids living away from them at no matter what age, you know, that's just how it is. And so I would have created so many different access points, right? Things that I don't even understand now, of course, because it wasn't a timeline that I chose, but they were, especially when I was first making the decision, there was a lot of possibilities of these things that popped up. And here's the other kicker. Again, since I'm only one system, there's, you know, I get infinite. I can't say a number because it's really infinite. All of those friends that I left behind, and all of those stories again, and a lot of drama that did go down those years, those are all very real access points. Because not only were they things that are happening, because I'm connected to them, even though I'm not there, because I'm living out my most harmonic choice in that time period, this still technically exists for me, because all of these people have access points to me. There's ties, there's energetic ties, and then I'm going to say the trippy thing, but when we're getting this nitty-gritty into how things work, we understand that these are truths, that there literally is a timeline where I never left, right? Where I was very much attached to all these people and to all these dramas. Who knows what would have really happened? You know, who knows where I truly, truly, truly would have been now? Because we can't say that if something pivotal that involved all of them and all the stories that happened to them, you know, would have affected me in some sort of way, while instead I'm like having my 21st birthday on an open beach grilling marlin, you know, on a fire, right? it would have been a completely different world back in Roxborough. It really would have been. So, yeah, so we can make choices and have entire realities. Like, what if this was the job? What if at the last minute you're like, you know what? This is too hard, or it doesn't look like there's anything out there, or man, that position actually looks kind of good, but it's a 10,000 pay cut. I can't do that, even though everything else about it makes my soul sing and makes me feel better. So staying in the job would be a choice, but even in some cases with a pay cut, it's not the best one, because it's your soul, right? Your soul wants this. Your soul knows that you should go. That's why you're having the thoughts. That's why the mental thoughts are coming in. The universe is trying to create through you. So you already really know that you should leave. And sometimes it doesn't appear like we want. So what if it was a pay cut, but when you interviewed with the job, they felt like a bestie, and the work-life balance is way better than this, and we do things again, back to Tracy saying, the lack, where we're like, dude, I can't lose 10,000 a year, when in reality, when we went like this, and then our nervous system was feeling better, and then just the simple joy of living a better life because of better balance, and you're happier, and your coworkers are awesome, and your boss is awesome, that alone actually really is worth 10K. But when it comes to still feeding your family, other things, you'd be so much happier that again, your side stuff would amplify. You'd be a magnet for, again, what we call, what is divine abundance. You'd probably scale the ladder here very quickly to make up for that, to get your raises. So that's what we need to think of. And then honestly, this timeline, yeah, so let's say you went through with it. You are going to leave your old job, but then there's that, oh my God, I really liked that boss, and it really seems like they have an amazing, again, work-life balance, or just it seems really cool to be in that type of office. But again, that's 55 a year, but then there's this job that's 70 a year, or freaking 75 a year. But even though they offered me the position, I felt some kind of type of way about the interviewer. And my hours are actually the same as my old, and I'm trying to get away from that. But $20,000, it's hard when we've been ingrained with lack and struggle to say no to that kind of money. So then what happens, if you do say yes to that, it's a choice. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's not this. It's not that we have to start listening to the source choices, to the things that are most harmonic, meaning we can't let one factor, especially a human factor like money, and guys, I frickin' get it, because we'll live in this world and we need money, but we can't let one factor override why we do something anymore. So if you're an entrepreneur, especially you're doing healings, you're doing courses, things like that, like selling digital products, more and more, this is the same thing where you can't just be launching anything, even if it's a good thing. Even if it's a good thing, and even if it will help people, if it wasn't the right time or the most harmonic thing that you could be working on that really lights up your soul, even if you make some crazy sale, people are noticing that, one, things are kind of flopping. Again, not that it's not good work. It's just it's not necessarily wrong. Maybe you made a few sales, but it's not what you thought it was going to be, because even though the offering may have been harmonic itself, the choice of it wasn't the best. The choice of it, again, even not even like out of mean or ego or anything, or, you know, it's just the choice was more out of lack or struggle. And so it wasn't the wrong choice, but it's not it's not necessarily wrong, but it wasn't the best one. And again, all of this is about looping. Then you're looping into lack. You're looping into struggle, right? We're going to keep up with those examples because they're just universal examples, right? And so this one could be because of societal condition. Well, this one is. It's funny because the example exactly was societal conditioning. It's funny because this one would have been a program. This would have been a program for my mother that I shouldn't be that far away from home, that I should be closer to family, things like that, yada, yada, yada. And then this one, if we were job searching and I went with the one that was 75K, because how the hell, right? And everything in your brain is going to tell you, how the hell can I pass up 20K? You're going to think that you can't. It's a condition. It's a condition. It's a condition. It's a condition. And it's, you know, you're probably going to be able to work your way through that freaking job and that system, but it's going to be the same thing as you're looping. Then you're looping in waking up in the morning and like, sure, is it nice that I have more money in my pocket, but fuck if I don't want to go to work. You know, I knew that interviewer / manager / whatever's vibes were off. I can't stand working with them. But hey, I got a paycheck, right? So it's a timeline, it's an access point, and again now, like, yeah, and then you've opened up how many, you know, access points here, because now you got all your new coworkers, you have the actual timeline of making the decision, and these are all new access points that come into your reality that now affect your reality. Like if you do want to then leave, let's again, example of the job, for the more harmonic. Now, here's the wobble. I don't know if I have a better way to explain this than to just explain it, like to just say it. And I think when I say it, you guys are going to understand. It feels like a collective truth. But even though you can make these types of choices and they're not necessarily wrong, because here's the other thing. Everything, right? Everything is connected. Everything is a spiral, right? Like even with this, if I would have went the timeline where I never went to Hawaii, I don't think I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but would I have picked up a lot of, not a star, discord. Would I have picked up a lot of discord from, again, I do now thinking about, like there was a lot of stuff that went down in my friend group when I was gone, because I'm like the mediator, like obviously, like you guys know that, like kind of about me, right? Like I'm the softie, I'm Switzerland. So I remember even from Maui, it was kind of like, guys, stop. Why are you fighting? And then they're like, no, this is what's happening. I'm like, whatever, man. Like obviously I can't do anything about it, but it really sucks hearing that like people are falling apart. So yeah, that would have been a lot of trauma and drama in then my system. Things that I actually had to at some point clear it for whatever reason, right? Who knows what that would have affected, but it would have affected me, right? And so, okay, so the wobble, and so like I said, so everything is a spiral. So this is a choice, and even though it's not the best one, ultimately it can loop to this. Ultimately it does. Like, does it actually happen maybe in this timeline? You know, and even this, right? It can reroute. Like, one, maybe you just eventually over time choose another job, or maybe you make the place that you're in so effing, like, you know, like from the inside out, you are like bombarding your life, your choices, your thoughts, etc., with divine love and divine harmony, and right, doing all the work, that you wind up climbing the ladder and you replacing that meanie or that boss or that whatever. And then you know, then the 75K was brilliant because now you're leading the team and you're running the joint and you're changing things from the inside. So you can see it's not that it's not necessarily wrong, but there would be a lot of transmutation to make that a reality, to change from going, I am going to call it going off path, even though all we're doing is we're just creating other timelines, when this is like the timeline, right? Your source choices and your new harmonics, because this is going to be important. I'm writing sideways. Can I do the S sideways, guys? New harmonics. The most harmonic decision is your source choice. And so that's when things are quickened. This is like what we call, well, it's the quickest path, right? This is the happiest, highest timeline. When if we take a different timeline, yes, again, we might get there. Sometimes we reroute for 20 years. You know, like if you're in the wrong partnership for a very long time and then you've created a timeline and you're like, that's it. Nope, I'm going to do it. I don't know how. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to move out on my own, but I've made a timeline. I've set it. Then all this stuff. So it doesn't matter how, but you know that you're rewriting your story because you've chosen yourself and you've chosen to exit. So another thing, I hope I'm not, because I didn't explain the wobble yet, but this is actually really getting to the wobble. But when this happens, when you make such a gigantic decision, like I am choosing harmony, that's it. I'm choosing my most harmonic thing. It doesn't need to be that I say, tomorrow I'm leaving, tomorrow I'm doing this. No, I'm making the choice. I am not, no more portal options, no more scattered portals. We have one portal now. The how doesn't matter. What matters after is going to be my action steps. The thing to be aware of, though, is that things that were on your path, maybe things that, again, you were doing, like, let's say, let's go back to like an entrepreneur or even just the job search. Sometimes when you make the harmonic choice, even if you said like 12 months out, I'm going to be in a new job, right? Or like, 18 months out, I'm going to be in a new home, right? Because you're giving yourself space, but you've still commanded in a new reality. Well, then guess what happens? Sometimes it doesn't matter because the job or something that you were relying on, something that you thought, right, would help you get here, but it was actually a discord. It was not the most harmonic choice. It gets taken from you, right? Again, this is very common. I wouldn't be surprised if every single one of you have some kind of story where when you are manifesting or healing and you choose better, a bad thing seems to happen, but all it's doing is helping you create a much stronger portal. It's like, oh good, this discord, even though my brain and my conscious thought that I needed this thing to help me, what's just done now that it's removed is really strengthen this, right? It's a go big, go home. And so the other thing that's happening lately, and I'm going to try and see if I also have, well, let me say it. Oh my God, Megan, say it. The wobble. Even though, yes, I wrote down and they did want me to share, like, hey, you can make these choices and they eventually might or can, again, as long as you then are doing your harmonics, they might loop back to the source choice, to the most aligned timeline portal, right? Lately, I'd say for a little bit of time, but like honestly, I swear to God, guys, like especially this year and even in this last like whoosh of energy, if we are making the not necessarily wrong choices, it's not a little discord anymore. It's not that just like, oh man, that didn't go the way that I thought it would, because again, it was a really good offer. I think it should have showed dozens, if not more, 3 people signed up for it, and I spent so much time, and so, like, I've depleted my energy, really, like, doing this thing. Instead, the wobble, like this wobble effect has been coming in, where it's like, okay, look, like, I still made that choice, but, even going into the depleted, like, maybe last year would have been like, oh, I kind of just wasted my time, but now it's like, oh no, I've lost, like, all my freaking energy and motivation. Like, I've really depleted my bank that I should have been focusing here, because when I'm in my most harmonic choices, I'm actually getting filled up, because this is actually source itself. This isn't just a timeline. This is like the timeline. I'm just going to write the. I'm not going to write the. This is, and that's the other picture. Let me see if I can find that other picture really quick. Because this is the timeline. So when the most aligned one, and so when we start to not necessarily choose the wrong timeline, because we're free will, and we can do whatever we want, but it really kind of wreaks havoc. It feels like the cleanup crew, right, that we needed. Come here, box. Okay, it is. I found it. Okay. So this is like kind of just something I'm showing you. I can't really, this is really its own, like this is meant to be its own masterclass, maybe even its own series of codes with the access to like the divine codes. You can see in here I was using the example of success. And so what this is, again, this is your most harmonic timeline. This is the source timeline. This is already how we receive energy. Not only are we able to receive all that we need from the most harmonic timeline, but that, and then there's like, so right, so it's, we're able to receive, like energy is able to come into us, but then we also, and again, what, like I'm going to like create like a ladder here because of what we call ascend. We step up into this frequency as well. And so, yeah, see this, it's not 100% fleshed out fully. Again, where I can teach this, but I do want to show it to you. So, like the ultimate source, there's a like always harmonic source, divine love. And then there are our choices, so original incarnation intentions, aka the programs we actually choose. And this, a lot of these are actually more what we would call our core essences. If you don't have that frequency code yet, you should. It's free. Let me know if you need me to drop it for you. But then also, what there are blocks here, we can call them actual blocks of different time periods, like stages in our lives when things would happen. Because remember, this is like our access point, but then there's going to be a circle here from our mother and our father and our siblings and our cousins, and then the timeline that we're going to be born into, the different stages of our lives, the stories. I'm just calling them stories here, but this is like the conditionings, the cultural programming. And so that's also then what this is. So this is access to like the ultimate source. And again, this is light architecture, guys. This is not just things I'm making up. Like, this is light architecture, ways that you can also access, control, wield your reality. And so when you tap into the most harmonic timeline, which is really source, so asking source, asking light, asking the benevolent ones for the most harmonic decisions and choices, and then actually follow through, because so many times, again, it's nobody's fault if they say yes to the 75K, because you got family to feed, and rent is insane, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not a wrong choice. It's just a choice that it wasn't the one, right? And this is why then things will start looping. Like, even if 75K comes in, this is when the things like, oh great, the truck transmission went out, right? 20K can actually get eaten up pretty quickly. What if one of your kids get in, I don't know, private school? I don't know. 20K can get eaten up really quickly, you know what I'm saying? And then where it feels like, oh look, I've just looped into that maternal line this whole time, because it wasn't actually the most harmonic choice. So now I'm kind of unhappy in a job I don't really like, and it doesn't even feel like I have more money. That's the loop cycle. That's the program of lack, struggle, etc., that stays in our systems. It's hard to stay in our system, again, unless we learn how to get it out, which is what the Akashic alignment method is, which, again, I did not intend this to be a teaching of that, but I can't deny that, oh my God, that's what this is. So this would probably be the teaching that, well, this is all, okay. So, yes, this has all been a very needed teaching, and I'm sure very helpful to those who are here and will be here. But this is probably where I can lead you, even though this is going to be its own master code and class, right? Because everything I do is about empowering you guys, that you have it in you. It is, yes, it's very true that the harmony that comes with the frequency codes, and again, gigantic methods like AAA, are going to make this so much easier, instead of just like doing meditations and doing affirmations, or asking, capital A, asking, as I say. But nonetheless, what you would do to do anything in what I taught here is to, and by the way, these are like concurrent timelines, past timelines, future timelines, because of you too. And again, this is not something I can go into now, but this is also like, your like oversoul in source itself. And then these are all different realities that are also you, right? And so what you do in this situation, actually success is a really good one if I'm struggling or if I'm in lack, that I'm choosing success. I ask, intend, and command for the frequency, the harmonic essence of success to be filtered into, to be imbued into, to be embodied into my current existence, my current life form existence. And I'm not gonna color up this one, although I kind of want to. But then what would happen while you're doing this is, yes, it's your current existence, but you always, so you're asking for success to come down, and then it's hitting you in your life, but it's also, that's what this is. Then that's what this swirl is. You've asked for a harmonic, a command, and the more harmonic you are is the more harmonic you command in harmonic realities, right? Because like is like. And in this case, as above is so below. That's honestly where this really becomes important. And so then you have now brought the success harmonic and made every single one of the access points that the harmonic that then echoes out of you touches. Because this is a collective thought, right? This is a program. This is something your mom instilled in you, right? This is that age 13 over here. Where like you learned, maybe you overheard something in the kitchen with just how hard money was, right? So if this was a discord in your system, these discords, once you have access to harmonics, and again, you always have access to harmonics. It's just about how much you can actually wield them, which again is where the frequency codes come in. Once you do that, then all of the touch points, right, and all of the discords that would have been in the way, they start to disappear. Of course, I'm doing this in real time. So, well, it doesn't really, again, because this is an echo of harmony. So sometimes, yes, you're going to want to go into that actual discord and work there. But the echo of harmony, this is you emitting harmony, right? Because you're a receiver, right? The divine receptivity, because they wanted all of this kind of complex, kind of not teachings to come into you and be received by you and understood by you, activating your divine wisdom. But so yeah, so you're a transmitter, and I said yes, but you're also an emitter of harmonics. And so everything in your field, right, and this is your line here, right, this is your system, quote unquote, stops here, because that's just your own system. And it's funny because I was called to bring in the sacred shield this morning after a really stupid, scary, bad dream. And so I was like, oh, I need to tighten up my shield. And so this does matter. Your whole system is important. You need to be taking care of your system, your Akashic center. But you 100% affect and radiate out into the collective. So then things that were discordant in your reality, in your outer reality, aka healed manifestations, well, this like almost inner would be like more like healed, right? These timelines, these portals are healed, and then outer, like, oh my God, I'm seeing like actual change in my life. I'm seeing actual things I want to come in. Yeah, because you're choosing, you're a channel, you're a harmonic channel. The more you work with harmony is the more that you are able to say goodbye to discord, and it becomes into flow, right? And so that's kind of that. Let me see if there's... Yeah, just this little bit here, just a little bit. It's just interesting because as I was bringing it out, I was like, oh man, this is like, it's literally the great cosmic web. Of course, we have very ancient stories about like Grandmother Spider and how we weave worlds, because we weave worlds with our choice points. You know, like I said, like which one was it? It was... I don't know where the job one went now. Okay. Oh, this one is the job one. It's just all, it's all done. Oh, no, I did it over here. So we weave worlds with our choice points. So again, if I would have chosen to never go to Maui, not only would like the people that I met there and like the major bonds and experiences and life situations, right, transversed in Maui, none of that would have happened. So that would have been like the closing of worlds. But I would have opened all these worlds. I would have been involved in all these, because it was just one choice that then affects all these different worlds. And so you weave worlds with your choice points. And we need to understand that we have our personal fields, and then we have like cosmic, really collective fields. And this is also, all of this is what we call our morphogenetic fields. And then this is why you do, as a divine commanding being, as a divine spirit, as an energetic being who is a part of all and who is a part of harmony, can create and shift out realities and even go into different access points, aka reality storylines and portals. And again, you can use a method like this, asking for the, like, pretty much we know what the thing we don't have or the problem is, again, just labeling lack or labeling fear, and then you create and ask for the opposite harmony, the polar frequencies. And something like fear, so like lack, on the other side of that is success, right? Is the opposite. And so they're actually on the same bandwidth. So when then you bring in something like success, you're erasing, you're transmuting, dissolving, and neutralizing the discord of fear. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and bring this around. I think I touched on most of what I wanted to touch on. Oh my God, it's been 1 hour and 40 minutes. Nobody's checking me. I 100% did not know that much time went by. I think my throat knows. I think I've been talking a lot. Okay. Is my flash on? Not that it's going to do anything. The lighting in my room is ridiculous, even though I have like 5 lamps. Well, that was fun for me to bring forth, even though, again, like I said, it was introductory, and I knew there was going to be a lot of bipping and bopping back and forth, because how do you teach that on one paper, right? If they want me to start drawing the visions and drawing the architecture, I'm going to have to show different aspects of it. So I'm going to like scroll through and read some comments. If you guys have any questions or comments as well, add them now. Of course, my beautiful replayers. I just journaled the date to leave my job by. Closing portals, Kathy. Opening and closing portals. Hell yeah. Yeah, do the freaking things, duh. Use the amazing... Oh, yes, for AAA, Tracy. It is, again, this stagnancy and God, and even when I say it, I know somebody on here remembers saying that I was going to do a AAA clear, literally to clear resistance. And I was teetering on, do I do it as a collective, like for everybody? I'd probably charge for it because they're really long, but maybe like $7 or something low to get in the door. Maybe if you're AAA already, I don't charge. But yes, I haven't done it. And then I was teetering on, I was like, oh, well, no, man, that seems like I really should just go into my own resistance. And I haven't done it yet. And so we have to give ourselves grace. And with that, again, like the stagnancy that was cleared in the collective, in the body today, in the I do frequency. So if you're in Activations Academy, please go do that code. It was really wild, and there was a lot of understanding why we're just quote unquote stuck and why we don't do the things we know we should do. And of course, again, there's another 1,000 examples of why, you know, again, choosing family first, things like that. But the thing, oh, it's the light behind me. The thing with that, especially when we go into things like, oh, like for me, my example, right, like choosing my daughter first, right, of course we're going to do that, and of course we're going to say that. But sometimes when we're really leaning into it and leaning into the specific decisions day in and day out, this brings me back to like the selfish codes, like choosing yourself. Not that you're freaking abandoning or not gonna feed your daughter or take her out or still do stuff for her that day, and lots of it, but choosing yourself actually first is the most harmonic portal, right? Because you're kind of not throwing yourself under the bus. And so sometimes we get really lost along the way. Things get really stagnant because, again, it's like the 75K job versus like a 50 or 55. We think the 20K is for a family, is for our life. But when reality, if we're not happy at our cores, if we're not satisfied and fulfilled in the things that we're spending 40 hours a week in, none of that other stuff matters. It really doesn't. And if we choose the money over it, we're going, especially now that the wobble, that bring me back to the wobble. I don't like, it's not the word, I think the word warning, again, is more my human ego, but I would say and there's an important broadcast, more so from the benevolent ones to, we have to be choosing the new harmonics. We have to be choosing the source choice points, because not doing so is just going to be extremely noticeable that we went a different way, and that we're going to notice the wobble, and we don't need that in these times. Yeah, Judy, so this will be something. So one of the invites is you want to be in Leap. If you guys, I think most of you that are on are probably in Leap. It's $11.44 a month. My ego is starting to have an issue with that, but the benevolent ones aren't. And the only reason my ego has an issue with it is because I'm starting to kind of hear that thing where it's like people aren't valuing the fact that these are true like power codes. Like, right, this is my spiritual activation and integration membership. Everything that's in there is a major key for an area of our lives, particularly our spiritual growth and needs. Really high-powered activations. And I'm a little worried that the low touch point is making it feel like it's not that. Right? And like I hate to go on, it is a program, right? It's a program that, like, oh, high value, right? They will value it more if it's high value. But that is kind of what I keep hearing, like, oh man, I don't think they're getting the bread, like the anyway. That's just what's coming through. So I'm not changing it now because the benevolent ones want me to leave it as the low access point, but I kind of need to start saying stuff like that. Like, make sure you're taking this seriously. Just because I'm charging $11.44 a month doesn't mean that this isn't like life-changing frequency codes. And so, especially in relation to this, so like source, spiritual command center, liminal walkers coming up for a very way to understand how to journey and meet and be in the benevolent times and places, again, especially into also meet benevolent beings who can help you anchor in more of your harmonics and then your truth, so that those source choice points just become all that much more clear. And then, of course, Portal Traveler, which did kind of bring all this forth, even though once I was drawing it, I was like, oh, well, this is the Aura Akashic Alignment category. I am going to talk about that in a second. But this is also bridging into the new code. In July's code for Leap is going to be either just new harmonics or new harmonic choice points, maybe new harmonic source choice points. So again, a power codes is coming up, and I'm teetering between, what I'm hearing now is it probably will be a recorded code, but that they will want me to, again, I always, you guys know that I show myself as human, right? Like this, while I know all this and I see all this and I have seen all this for a long time, it's not easy to put on paper and then to convey it. So I will get in my Discord of doubt and but how when I say things like, but I think that they're going to want, you know, again, like Judy said, I need a chart like this, where they are going to want, maybe that'll be the integration, where I have to create some sort of chart where you can more understand how to, especially that other one I showed you, although that was meant to be a different masterclass, but how then you are using those harmonics, especially, right, all the essences that you have and core essences, which is also core essences and a bonus, the fields of limitless possibilities, again, a power code available in Leap. All of these will really teach you how to do this, but I can see again how a chart, and they want me to be drawing light architecture now. So, okay, I think that was a long way to say a short thing, but yes, some powerful things are still coming. Again, if you want all of those power codes I just mentioned, as well as the new one coming up, Leap, I will, let me add it in right now, just to make it easy. I'll bring you guys right here. And then, oh, I'm going to hit stop over here. So I did record this as well. Again, I will probably chop it up, not this week, but make it like a little more digestible, and yeah, just so it can really be gone down. Let me see some other comments. G says, this is so amazing, Megan. I've been channeling time and timeline transmissions, and you're making it all click. Yeah, so that's another thing. So like well, you were here at the beginning, G. So like the divine wisdom, the divine understanding, the divine receptivity. Of course, there are so many of you that are here. I mean, that's who I teach. That's who I share with. You guys are all really powerful. Oh God, guys, I have this thing when it's like, if my hair is not poofy, and the light's washing it out and making it look poofy, but it's not poofy, but then it also looks like I'm just glowing in angelic light. I'll leave it alone and let my ego go. But I'm teaching badass light workers and light keepers and light wielders, and many of you are actually also in teaching, right, in healing realms yourself. Again, why the frequency codes are so important. They don't take place. It's not like wow, AAA is a modality that everybody should have, because it also makes your work stronger and more effective. Your understanding with your inner healing and manifestation, but then also how you can help your clients. And there is a professional certification for if you want to use it on clients. The frequency codes, though, they just make everything more understandable and real and powerful. It doesn't matter what you're doing here on the earth. Using the codes aren't like, oh, it's this other thing I have to take on. It's like, no, man, they light up your light. They light up your life. They're here for you. It's what it is. The harmonics and orders of the sacred universe here to support you, right? That's my mission too. Maybe I should have just done this part after. Okay, so Leap. Leap into your life. Look at this. I just found a coupon code. So anybody that joins, I will say by the end of the weekend, I don't even know what day it is. What are we on? Thursday. You can, I don't know, it's like $2 or $3 off. it was making it a certain price when it was a little lower, but again, so now it's under $10 a month now for the first 3 months, and then you guys will pay $11.44. You want to be in this to access all of those codes, and then especially because every single other code that's ever going to come in is going to be a power code for your spiritual gifts, for your activation, and then your integration, right? How to make it real. So yes. Okay, beautiful, G. I might not check today. It's getting a little late, and I'm going to give myself grace, but I will be in my inbox tomorrow. This hits all the things, my friend. You're welcome. I come from a long, wow. So obviously that normally comes up. So Judy says I come from a long line of poor farmers up until my paternal grandparents. So yes. And that's honestly, it's a little common, but it's still, that's not a coincidence that was brought up. Normally when I'm doing a live thing like that, they will bring me into something. So it makes sense. But also, in genealogy, it's like, it's a shame too that we don't really, once we're getting into greats and greats, that we lose that. I want to be a financially abundant farmer, and I'm definitely feeling blocked on how to access that. So you're talking like legit, like you want to work the land as well. Yeah, that's a discord. That's a heavy discord, because it's almost more discordant than if you wanted. First off, you have lack and struggle. So again, anybody this story makes sense to in your own ways. So we have the discord of lack and struggle from being a woman, and from being alive today, and from, daring to want our own dreams instead of staying in a corporate gig, to wanting to be like on our own, right? Like if you want to separate from the traditional family unit, what I bet is a discord for you too. It feels like with how you say, because farmers, they have to stick together. You like each other or not, right? That you need more people on the farm. So I bet that's a discord you're dealing with. But then, so not only are you clearing lack and discord in general, yes, lack and struggle in general, you're literally also clearing it for that specific dream, which in your genome, right, in your genealogy, isn't a reality. And I say this all the time too, where you have to understand that, like, even just your grandparents, right, they don't understand so why, because timelines and ancestry affects us so much. The kind of money even that we need to survive today, and just like I live in a very expensive area, the kind of money that we need to survive a day, let alone the kind of money that we want to then feel comfortable and then to thrive, the numbers don't even make sense to even our very close ancestors. And that's a lot of discord to have to clear. So you're up for it, Judy, and you're up for it, everybody else on here. Like, people need to be working with the Akashic Alignment Academy. It's for you. It was birthed, again, for this world, and it is life and cell and soul changing. And it's the most, all of the things that I talked about, all the how do you know where it is, or all these different collectives and all of that are in it. The Akashic Alignment teaches you exactly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The frequency codes are so harmonic that are in there, the aura codes, and then the psychic awakening codes, and then, oh my God, the release, right, and reclamation codes. They're so powerful and so harmonic that you are then the harmonic that then can bring in what you choose. But also, all this stuff that's hidden, it's not hidden anymore. With the actual method, it teaches you how to find everything. What chakra is it in? What body part's it in? Is it paternal? Is it maternal? Is it subconscious? Is it subconscious? Is it a past, a life, a concurrent timeline? What age or stage did it come in? I'm probably forgetting. What kind of conditioning, right? Is it cultural? Is it religious? Is it societal? Is it familial? It goes no stone unturned. And then the other offer that wanted to come forth, and that I keep hearing, and I don't really know how I'm going to do this yet, but they keep saying that everybody should be in the light library. Everybody should be in the light library. The light library is every one of my offerings, besides AAA, actually, because AAA is very deep live mentorship, right? It's a whole system. Like, as of right now, at least, like, I need to be in it to really teach it. But it's everything else. So it's like 4 frequency codes, all of my stuff. And again, maybe a little more extended, but I will bring that out. I'm hearing at $88 a month for 12 months, and then that's it, and then you own all of it. And why they're wanting me to start offering that more and more and more is also for this, because it's not just lack that we're dealing with, and it's not just struggle, it's also fear, and it's, you know, it's also heartache, and it's also illusion keeps coming up. But, you know, we want to work on our spiritual gifts, and we want to work on healing our heart, and we want to work on our mental aptitude, and we want to work on our manifestation skills, and we want to work on our prosperity. And so, as much as I have really beautiful, compact series and courses for these different aspects, the light library is where, like, you can just message me one day and say, this is the thing I'm going through, and I'll go bop, bop, bop. Like, these are the codes, the benevolent ones, and I don't have to be like, oh, here's another $300 course. You'll have them, right? You'll have the light library. So that is another thing that they made me offer at the end of this. Yes. I ask, intend, and command that the thing, right, the harmony that you choose, and even saying just harmony is extremely healing for everything that we need. But using, again, the code, right, the word that you want, and asking for that to come into this timeline, this body, this reality, right? And you'll be able to feel it. That was amazing. Thank you. I understand so much now. This is awesome, Megan. Thank you. So friggin' amazing. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, I love you so much. You are welcome. Thank you. Nice to join a live again. Yes, I will be here for more of these. Radiant transformation. Yes, in the leap code. Again, there's so many others. Even the ones that I consider more like when they made me bring them in, I think it's like internal balance. And then there was like the anapausis and the presence. And I don't even know why I'm saying like they're less than, because they're, I guess just in the moment, I was like, yeah, but I said like big, blah, spiritual activation. But if we're not going to be present with ourselves and with the reality of who we are and what's happening within us, and presence is also being in tune with source, with our source choice points, they're being like, Megan, this is a power code. And then, yes, and then internal balance, and oh my God, and radiant transformation, yes, was about how, one step at a time. It actually goes into this timeline, how once you choose something, then boom, you're activating this story now, you're activating this portal. But then also when you do the little thing, this can exist though, well, in most cases, right? When we are really being harmonic, like there can be those those opportunities where like freaking a friend's cousin or, something happened. A cousin's like, oh, don't you do that thing? There's this opening, if you want to come in and apply for it. Things like that can happen. But in most cases, let's say in some cases, because again, limited possibilities, limitless realities, when you're working with harmony, it really does open up good opportunities and timelines like that. But back here, you need to do your resume, right? Like, you need to take a divine action step. And it's not even just the actual act of like, duh, I need a resume to like apply and things like that. It's just that's your micro step. That's your action step. I'm going to let the light be the light. It obviously wanted to come in like this at the end. And you guys you see me here, right? But so, it's not so much that it's updating your resume. It's that you took a divine action and then you are solidifying that portal of the new harmonics that much more. And so that's why it matters. Just really pay attention to your choices now, because the wobble, the effects of not making the most harmonic choices, oh my God, can we feel them? And we don't want to deal with those repercussions, Because since it's such a discord then to like choose the not most aligned thing, we feel it very heavily in all of our lives. And you know, when I say that, I mean our bodies, right? In all of our bodies. So mentally, emotionally, physically, oh my God, we'll feel it. So come into Leap if you're not in Leap and you want access to the codes I mentioned and this new Harmonic source choice points power code. And then a lot of beauty is coming after that as well. Come into the Aura Akashic Alignment Academy. Alumni, I'm going to send you guys a ridiculous rejoin offer as well. I would love to share that space with you again. I am calling this, like I called the last one, AAA 3.0. Of course, if you don't rejoin, you guys have the system. Anything that's going to get updated in the system will also be yours. But of course, it's going to be a lot different than, right, like, new is coming in. And again, like I am, yes, I will share it in the portal, but it's, I mean, you guys know what a new 3 months of mentorship and camaraderie and going through your own stuff again, really committing to your own work, right? Capital W work here on this planet. And then, yes, the Light Library. I would love to see many of you saying yes to the full sequence of the codes. It's about 20 or 21 courses right now. Again, ridiculously inexpensive at this point is what they're asking me to do. Okay, I love you all. I'm going to see I'm trying to do these about every 2 weeks now. I don't know what's going to come up next. And maybe I'll go deeper into this one and ask them. I'm not going to say what I'm going to go into because I don't know yet. We're going to let it be up. I love you all, and yes, mega wobbling all year. I'm telling you, 2025 especially, if you're not choosing the most harmonic path, you're going to feel the wobble. And it's a lot harder than it used to be to then to correct back onto the path, right? I mean, you can still correct back onto the path, but you're not without feeling that wobble first, and it just affects us greatly. So no more wobble. Okay, I love you all. I'm sorry I kept you guys on for 2 hours. I really did not know I was talking that long or thought this would go this long, but I know that it was all meant to be passed on. Feel free to keep asking questions, send me a message, and you guys know that I'm here for you. Much love, much love, much love. Bye.